Good evening and welcome to another video in the Artful Coder series on clean architecture. In this video we're going to focus on enhancing something we've already created. So in one of our previous videos we created a component to handle notification, but this is just simply a simple alert on screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new component because we want it to pop up. And yes, you could tweak this, you could have this change, which is probably one way you could do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this slightly. So let's create a new razor component. And we're going to call this notification modal dot razor. And remember that we need to create an underlying class. We're going to delete all this, we don't need that. And we'll create an underlying class. We're going to do add new class and call this notification modal dot cs. Not razor, those are problems. Okay, it's a partial class. Those have to be partial classes, otherwise it will combine you. Well, and what do we want from our modal? Well, we're going to want a message. Protected string message. I'm going to do get set, and we'll set string empty. We have a couple of functions as well, so we're going to say well, another variable not inside the classifier, and this is protected bool should show modal. There's a get set, I'll say false. I have a couple of methods. So one is protected, public, because we have to get into it. Public. Let's do void show modal. And we have a message in here of that. And we're going to simply say message. Yeah, we'll do that. No, that's not right. We want to say message. Okay. And then all it's going to do is say should show modal equals true. And then we're going to want protected, because we're only doing it inside of this class, void hide modal. And the business logic of this, or the business logic or your domain logic, is just going to simply set this to false. And you could set message to blank if you got a tidy up as well. Do that. There you go. So there's a couple of things we need to do now. We actually need to build our modal. Now modal is quite a common thing out there that people want to do. So let's start off with it. We need to start off with if should show modal. So we want this to appear where we want to show it. So let's do div class equals modal. And we want to give it an ID if you want to interface it with my notification. And we're going to say style equals display dash block. And there's different components that modals have. So we've got a div, and one is the outer layer, and one is the inner component. And this is modal. There you go, modulus content. And each modal is going to have a header. So div doesn't have to, but in this case we will do. So modal dash header. And let's just give it h2 notification. Okay, we're doing that, we've got that Oh, they're not liking that. Yeah, okay, so we've got the header, so div class equals modal dash body, and this is where we simply put our message, so this is at message in there, and modal div class equals modal dash footer, and I'm going to say text dash right, and then we have an input on click, and we're going to say use an arrow function handle. Do we need to? Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's give it a go. So it's just called handle that. May not need to, but we'll have a look. How do we do that? Oh, you have to do the extra create it as that. Hide pop-up modal. We don't need the quotes in there. And we'll say type equals button class equals btn, so button btn dash primary, and value equals close. There you go. This should show me that's all right there. I'm missing something. Oh, that's it. Hang on. We want to put our bits in there. There you go. So that's our modal logic built. And then what we're going to do is we've got our function there. So let's go and find our actual page in here. So that's the data structure. Where's the pages? Guys. And what we want to do is we want to add in our notification modal at ref equals my notification modal. There you go. That does exist, so we need to create it. And we need to go to cars and add in here. Let's just create it down here. Okay, it's 05th.04.24. Line below added, say private, and call this notification modal. Yeah, it did have it there, but we just blitzed over it. So let's go to cars.razor and come in here. There you go. Okay, so we need to do a bit of tweaking because we've now got a problem. So one way we can fix this is because we're using an update message, then there's one thing we can do if we want to make our lives a bit easier. So we can create a new public function on the modal, void update, and this may well replace this for stream message, and that's just going to call this. Yes, you could replace it, and that's a proper way to do it, but we're just going to do it for the speed of time. Okay, and then all we've got to do in here is swap out. I don't use resharpener. I like to, I've played about with it, so let's have a look. There you go. Swapped out. So what's going to happen now is instead of that little prompt above the input form, it's going to do a pop-up modal. But there is one more thing we need to do. A modal is all good, but we need some styles for it. Now, the Modal CSS is available online, but we will type it out just so we can show you the whole process. So let's go down here. Let's say KS 05.04.24 section below added. And let's say dot modal. By default, we don't want it to space or set it to none. Then we want to say position equals fixed, because we want it in a certain place on the screen. And we have to set the Z index. By default, this is whatever you want it to be, 10,000. And you will see when you overlap modals, I've done this before, you have more than one modal, a modal will pop up from another modal. You then start to overwrite this in CSS, but by default it's 1000. So let's do padding top dash top, and let's give it, you don't have to do this, let's say 100 px, and let's say left 0, top 0, and let's say width equals 100%, height, because we want it to span. This is the backdrop. So this is the mode of content is what sits overlaying the backdrop. So overflow auto, you could have scroll on here. You can play about it yourself. So background color dash color, and it's going to be RGB 0,0,0. And if that fails, we're going to now add an opaqueness to it, so we can see it. So let's do background color, and it's RGB A, so this is the alpha, 0 from alpha, comma, 0.4, because we want it 40% alpha. And why is that not liking that? So escape, do that. And now the modal content. So you can make this however you want it to do, however you want to do it. So just say content, do this, what background color do you want it to have, and dash color equals, let's go with FE, slightly off white. Margin we're going to set to auto, we want the browser do the logic to translate this, so padding 20px, you could have this however you want. This is the inside measurement with any of the content of there all around, and we can give it a border radius as well, or a border rather. Let's say 1px solid, and we're just going to do it grey, but it could be any colour you want to. And we're going to say width is 80%. Again, you'll want to play about with this with your notifications, but I'm going to show you that afterwards to show you how you can overwrite this. So what we're going to have on next thing we need is modal dash header, and do backgrounds, and do 2, and let's do it sorry 8 F dollar important. Okay, so have we got anything else we need to do? So the header as well, we just want modal dash header h2, and we want this to be color I have set the background as well, don't we? So we're just going to do that, and this will make sure it overrides any existing styles. Word important does that. And backgrounds equals book. We've done that up there. Hang on a minute, I'm getting confused. Excuse me, I'm getting confused with myself. That wants to be in there, so the colour wants to be white, and the H2 just wants to be colour. Yes, you shouldn't need to do this, but I have known it not to apply it properly. And let's have a border dash bottom. Yeah, it tries to apply bottom border by default in the modal, but we don't want that, so 0px solid. There you go. Okay, so that is the CSS for a modal. Pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into our hosts, and what you will need to do is you'll need to do this little technique you can do. So version equals 1. Didn't mean to do that. There you go. So what we've got is we've got a modal. So shall we see if this works? Let's go to our web API. So let's run this up. Start new instance. Got our web API. Our UI. Think about it. There you go. So now what should happen? Okay, so it's oh, interesting. It's not. Okay, that's wrong. So what have we got? Okay, so we have to debug why we've got errors. So let's go back to our components. Let's go and have a look. Should show modal equals true, show modal false. Let's go to our cars razor. So we're setting it up there. One notification modal. Let's go to our cars page. So we've got that there. Let's pick that up. Let's go to cars. We're setting that there. Okay, what we're going to do, I've got a better idea. So let's just do that. I want to see if it's trying to fall into here somewhere. So let's just go into here. I think it's because it's not. No, it's not erroring. I just want to see if it goes into our. Let's do continue. Ah! I've just spotted what I've done. So basically, let me explain something about Blazor. It's all well and good having these functions here, but what you'll need to do, which I didn't put in as per our other one, is within here you need the state has changed, because that tells the server tells the front end, say, look, I've changed something in the back end, so all we need to do is put that there and there too. What we'll do, put a nice comment in there. Yes, 05.04.24 and say line below added. Just copy that comment. There you go. So let's run that up again. So we did a bit of debugging to work out why it's not working, and it kind of twigged. So let's do start new instance, start a web API up. I always like to reload properly when I've done certain changes, because it's not like the caching something or doing anything weird. So start new instance, it's going to run up our application. So it's come across here, and what should happen it's going to try and go into there. There you go. So you can see you've got this nice pop-up message just there. And then when you do hide, it disappears. So let's take the breakpoints out. Let's just take these all out. There you go. So each time I click that now, make is required. And this is where I was saying you might want to override the CSS because this message, as good as it is, look how big it is on screen. So the way you can do that is you could then say, let's go into our C. Let's just stop our project a minute. So what we're going to do is get the site. If we go back to notification modes on cars, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's go down here. It's easier. So we're going to take this, go into our site, and below that, and do hash dot modal because it's the content you want to resize. The opaque area is the main modal. So we say max dash width equals 250 px important, and then we go into a host to change it. Let's change that to version 1.1. Let's spin a project back up, do debug. Oh, okay, doesn't matter, still do it. I just accidentally clicked without debug options. Okay, so that's going to run a UI up, and if we come into here, there you go. Probably a bit small now, but you can play about, and you can add images in here. You could use Bootstrap rows and columns, but it just looks. I think this looks a lot slicker because your eyes are drawn to the error. Then you could go even one step further to change the styling of your actual fields. You could have an array of errors in a pop-up. You could then do edit modes and all that. I've done this in practice, not practice, but in actual commercial environments, and I do enjoy Blaze. It's a nice UI and framework rather. But yeah, you just want to tweak this about, and at any point you can go in here, you can just say, well, actually, this CSS, you can see it's overriding it down here, modal content. You can see there, so if you want it a bit bigger, you can say 350. That's just changed it in the browser, but you want to change it there. So again, that's just a nicer way instead of having a drop down up here. So I think what we're going to do in our next video is complete the CRUD. And what I mean by that is by the end of it, I want a more styled cars application. And we may even have an importing facility that will use OOXML, OpenXML to import cars and do a bit more validation. Then we can see how we can handle error messages within our modal. It's simpler than what you think, and we can then display some error messages as alerts in the actual pop-up, so it draws your user right to it. But again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've really enjoyed this video, and yeah, please stay tuned.